In the final phases of the Eastern Cape elective conference of the ANC, the president of the party already giving his address, and these are just the final items on the agenda that the conference is dealing with. Our reporter Mbali Thethani has been following developments, and she joins us now live from this conference venue. Mbali, good evening to you. So, you know, quite a victorious ending to the conference, at least if one listens to both the speeches of Oscar Mabuayne and President Cyril Ramaphosa. I suppose both of them having reason to be quite satisfied with the outcome tonight.
Of course, it's certainly high spirits here at the conference in the Eastern Cape, and of course the slate of Oscar Mabuayne taking the win for this province. And at the same time, you'd know that that slate has been really linked to President Cyril Ramaphosa, and he would want this province to be by his side when he heads to the ANC's elective conference much later this year. But of course, Kathy, you would remember that going into this conference, a lot had marred this conference. I mean, there were many delays, and of course, when we saw Oscar Mabuayne, now the chairperson, who has been re-elected as the chairperson of this province, speaking out against those divisions in which we saw in the ANC in this province, saying that, of course, it is now time for everybody in the ANC in this province to come together and to unite and work as one. At the same time, President Cyril Ramaphosa also speaking out against the divisions which have marred coming into this conference, saying that even those who are on a different slate, they should not be targeted. You remember that also there's been murmurs doing the rounds here, saying that if you are not on the slate of Oscar Mabuayne, the chances of you being reshuffled from your position in this province is quite high. And of course, you heard there Ramaphosa also speaking out against those issues. But of course, he is indeed quite happy and quite delighted because it plays a significant role when it comes to his second term in the ANC. And I mean, the ground has been laid by this province with the likes of Oscar Mabuayne also then solidifying his position and solidifying the position of this province when it comes to indeed if whether they will be supporting President Cyril Ramaphosa at the ANC's elective conference. But at the same time, Kathy, we also had the president there saying that he's seen a number of newspaper headlines saying that, you know, what we saw in 2017 can be a repeat of what will be seen at this conference, because you would remember that an extra day needed to be added to this conference because delegates were not seeing eye to eye and they could not adopt those credentials which needed to be adopted for this conference to indeed go ahead, and saying that, well, of course, this conference has indeed won, and of course, it has also those doomsayers who are saying that they will not see an elective conference or a leadership being elected. Him saying that they have already shut down those comments and those headlines in which we saw because of the chaos that had erupted in this province. But quite delighted, quite happy. I mean, even the crowds here, Kathy, when he came up and they were cheering and they were singing and, of course, saying that they will be indeed supporting President Cyril Ramaphosa come the conference in December.
But let's talk about this idea of positions and what the role then of future, current or even future leadership positions is for those who contested this election and have not been successful. Babalo Madikizela has been quoted publicly as saying that he is going to be resigning as the MEC of Public Works, and says it's been a couple of years in the making now. What do we know about that? And is what the president said tonight, you know, somewhat of a response to somebody like him who's already indicating that perhaps he's done with serving in government?
It is indeed quite a weird comment that we saw a bit earlier on, because you would remember that Babalo Matikizela did have an interview with one of our reporters who's with me here, Sipakem, saying that he's okay and he feels as if he will still continue. But much later on in the evening, we then saw those comments coming out saying that he will be resigning, from the public works as MEC. And of course, it was something quite weird that came out, even though he was quite certain that he will continue in his position. But President Cyril Ramaphosa did say inside here that those who are not on the slate should not be isolated when it comes to their positions, because you would know that some of them who were indeed on Babalo's slate still occupy quite crucial roles when it comes to the Eastern Cape government. So, Kathy, it is quite something that we'll continue to monitor and also try and catch up with Babalo Madikizela just to get clarity and for him to clarify to us if indeed he will be stepping down from his position, especially after what the president has just alluded to this conference.
Mbali, I wonder for those who are part of the administration of government but are also conference delegates at this particular conference, I wonder if they've put in leave requests to take the day off in order to be able to attend to these matters. Mbali, we'll leave it there for now. We'll continue with you in the next hour of the show. The president still seated firmly in this conference venue alongside the other delegates as they get through the rest of the agenda for tonight.